the president's report. Well, we're starting off for our winter work. You'll be seeing more about the membership drive. We want to get people to make their membership donations. Since we don't have much else in the way of revenue generating for the winter, that's a really important thing to do. We are in the throes of expanding that resource section of the website. When you go out to the website, you pull down resources, you can do the article search, and we are continuing to build that. We are still working on finalizing the grant from DEP for Mordecai Island. Ed and I will be on a call next Thursday with a fellow named McPherson from DEP. It just keeps going on, but we can't work on it this winter anyhow, so that's probably not so bad. I think we're all supporting the committee work on the various committees that we work on. We'll ask for some committee reports as we move forward. So that's my report. Any questions on that? We will, if you see our agenda, if we have new business, we'll do that at the end.
Rick, this is Joe on membership.
Yep.
We need to ask all the volunteers to make sure they enter any hours that they may have worked that they didn't enter for this year when the next survey comes out.
Okay, and the surveys come out every Friday, and they go right into a spreadsheet, and Joe is very adept at working on spreadsheets, and he sent me the one from the final that was up to last month, which is just great, Joe. I really appreciate you being able to do that and getting it to me. So that's, we want to make sure that everybody gets their hours in, and just a reminder, if you haven't reported for a while, that's okay. Just report them all, and then just in the comments field, just say this is for the past 3 months or the last 2 months or the last month, whatever it is. You can do that. Other things? Okay, Upweller activity or Upweller closing activity. Lou, anything to report on that?
All the upwellers in the north part of the area have been closed up for the season, and the pumps are stored in the shed behind the extension office. So right now, all we're doing is putting together a list of things that we need for next year.
Okay, and as a reminder, and that was one of the things that came up in the last meeting, was to make sure that we have a list of inventory items, a list of items that everybody has from last year, and any of the things that that they may need. We have a finance committee meeting on Monday. We would like to get any of the financial needs into that finance committee meeting, because that's the meeting that will firm up the budget for 2021. Okay. Educational activity. I don't think there's anything new there. Deb, anything?
Yeah, I have a couple of pieces of information to share. We're in the process of sharing the 5 newest and completed videos to the website library. We've rejoined the Alliance for New Jersey Environmental Education and hope to be listed as a resource on their website. We have not received any requests by classroom teachers thus far this fall. We can understand why that's not happened. We'll be sending out a follow-up letter to the education constituencies, announcing the new library lessons available and offering our in-class virtual support if they should want to invite us to talk to their students we're willing to do that.
Good. Any comments, questions, observations?
Just regarding the Angie thing that we're a member of now, they have posted us as an organizational member on their website. What I would like to do, if our videos are now ready for prime time, I would like to they have a page on their website. It's angie.org, I think. But they have a website that all their organizational members can post various resources that people can go to. So I'd like to get our stuff posted on that. I'm not sure exactly how to do it, but we'll work that out. If those videos are now ready to go. So anyway, good resource there. And oh, and they're also going to have another thing. They're going to have a winter conference, virtual, and they do look for presentations and sponsorship and things. So maybe we would like to do some kind of workshop thing virtually with them. It's just something to think about. I think it's in January. I'm sorry I don't have it in front of me. But anyway, that's the story.
Okay, so
Well, I was just going to say, well, let's try and get a committee meeting in early December, and hopefully you'll have more information and we can decide if there's somebody that wants to work on that or if we want to do it collectively.
Okay.
great. And
Okay, thanks.
Wes, let me know. Well, I'll give you a buzz. Then
You're breaking up, Rick.
we'll take a look at their state and we'll figure it better. Wow, sorry about that. I just got a notice that my internet is unstable.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, let's keep moving along here. Nominate. Deb, do you want?
Do you want to do fundraising first?
Oh, I'm sorry. Fundraising. Bill, are you on? Huh. I don't.
Maybe we are going on to nominating committee.
Yeah, let's go on the nominating committee.
Okay, the nominations committee have submitted our recommended slate for the office of president and secretary for consideration by the board of directors. The board of directors will meet before the middle of December to decide to accept and release to the membership before the December annual meeting, the slate that's recommended. In the next week, the general membership can still submit any nominations, and they'll be treated as nominations from the floor. And the annual meeting in the middle of December will have the election.
Okay, very good. And another thing.
And their nominations from the floor to you, Rick.
Okay. So nominations from the floor should come to me. I don't know how much I'm breaking up. And then we further discussed the bylaws, and it turns out that with everything else going on, we really didn't want to pursue any change to the bylaws. So the idea that we had raised at the last meeting and the bylaw revision that was sent out to everyone, we're no longer in need of making those changes at this time. We may want to revisit the bylaws after the elections and one thing or another, but right now, no more on the bylaws. Right, Deb? Anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay. Coastal Stewardship course, Doug.
Good evening, everybody. Hope everyone's staying well. So the last,
Doug,
yes,
hi. This is Kathleen Space. I'm a member and I'm on the phone. Rick, can we go back to the nominating committee? Because you didn't ask if there were any questions, and I have a question.
Sure.
All right, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Doug. Thank you very much.
no problem. Go ahead.
All right, sorry. There's like a lapse between my phone and my car and talking to you guys. So forgive me here. Deb, you said that currently you have 2 positions that you have candidates for that you're going to bring to the board. Can you please go over what those 2 positions are, please?
Deb, you're,
I know, I got it.
oh, you're good.
I'm sorry, Kathleen. The 2 positions that we sent recommendations to the Board of Directors on were for the presidency and the secretary.
Okay. So am I to assume, and I need to ask, I know what they say about the word assume, but nevertheless, that you still do not have a vice president or a treasurer?
That was last year's election, Kathleen. So our vice president term was, it came up last year, and Lou Fellner was the vice president elected, and our treasurer is Joe Mance. He also assumed the position last December. Well, last January.
Okay, great. Thank you, Deb, for clarifying that for me. So are there any other positions that you're looking for nominees for from the floor to for people if they're interested to get in touch with Rick?
No, those are the 2 positions that will be on the agenda in December. The term of office for each of the positions is January of 2021 for 3 years. So the new president and secretary would take office in January of 2024. Now, the vice president and treasurer started in 2020, January of 2020. Their term will be over and new people will take the office January of 23.
Okay, thank you very much for clarifying this for me. And then do we have a date yet as to when the December meeting is?
The third Tuesday, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Meetings are the 3rd Tuesday of the month at 6 o'clock. And
Okay, so, sorry, Rick. I'm sorry, there's a delay while I'm trying to talk to you.
Got it.
Modern technology, isn't it so lovely?
Right.
All right,
That's the 15th.
I'm sorry, Rick, can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. So your intent then is to bring just so I understand the procedure. So your intent is to bring the 2 nominees, the presidency and the secretary, forth to the voting members in December at that meeting. Will you be revealing those candidates ahead of time, or will that be
Yes,
present on the agenda?
Before the meeting, you will have, it will be a part of the agenda, and we'll also list if there are any nominations that come in to Rick, that'll also be listed, and they'll be listed as nominations from the floor.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you clarifying everything for me, Deb and Rick. I appreciate it.
Okay. All right. Any other questions before we go on to Doug?
I do. Deb, the vote, is it amongst the membership or just the board members?
The slate is determined at the board of directors level, and they send that to the membership for a vote.
Got it. Cool. Thank you for clarifying that as well. And so the third Tuesday in December is the 15th. Cool. All right. I'll jump on to the coastal stewardship. I don't have too much. We had our last class on November 4th. So we wrapped up for the year, and Kelly's helping contact all the students, the graduates, getting the certificates of completion out to them via mail here in the COVID era. And we have a virtual graduation, open microphone, social, a little Q&A planned for Tuesday, December 1st, 6:30 p.m. All the graduates on the email list, all the fall and spring students on our class email lists got the invitation to that social and the virtual graduation. If anyone else wants to join, please contact me or Kelly and we can get you the webinar details for that. But we'll recognize this year's graduates, thank the guest lecturers and other partners who are in attendance, and I told folks to bring any remaining questions they might have for open microphone Q&A. So hopefully folks can join us if you're available, Tuesday, December 1st, 6:30. And then after that, I guess the 2020 wasn't what we set out to be for the class with the field trips and course volunteer requirement being suspended, but we'll look forward to hopefully a smoother 2021. Happy to take any feedback or questions, suggestions, if there are any.
Any questions?
Doug,
Yes, Kathleen.
hello. I have a question. As a student that was in the coastal stewardship class for 2020, unfortunately, because of COVID-19, I was not required, and so were the other students in the 2020 class, to fulfill our volunteer hours because of COVID-19 and the restrictions that were placed on us. So how does that work? And I have had some email correspondence with you and with Rick, and I really need this clarified, and I guess now might be the time to ask. How is this set up so that normally if we had done our 20 hours of volunteer for this year and it wasn't suspended because of COVID-19, then I would have automatically gotten a membership in Reclaim the Bay. And that's what's written in the bylaws. So because of it being suspended this year, has there been any discussion as to the other students in our class? Do they automatically get a membership in the Reclaim the Bay? And have they been notified of that?
Thank you, Kathleen. That's a good question. I think the proper party is here to hopefully provide a definitive answer. If not, we'll follow up with some additional history. This is my third year leading our Rutgers course. First year I did, it was the first 13 or so years of the course. It was called the Shellfish Gardener course. And my first year, we made it a webinar option. And we've had that for the last 3 years. And its new name is Coastal Stewardship. This is the second year that it's been named Coastal Stewardship. With the webinar option, we've opened it up to more across the state so that we do have representation across the state. But traditionally, and still most of the people who take our extension course would, in the non-COVID year, finish their 20 hours of volunteer time in partnership and collaborations, field programs, et cetera, with Reclaim the Bay. And the nominating, from my understanding from previous years, without looking at the exact language, but the membership committee of Reclaim the Bay, when they redefined the terms and different levels of membership, I believe that was in 2019. And yes, consistent with the bylaws of Reclaim the Bay, if students finish the Rutgers extension course and meet the requirements, Last year, if they met the volunteer requirements in partnership with Reclaim the Bay, then they were offered a membership. This year, and in the COVID times, we suspended the volunteer requirement for the extension course. That conversation was not revisited with the membership committee of Reclaim the Bay, if they would still provide that option for membership for 1 year upon completion of our course, in this case without the volunteer requirement. But as you saw in the bylaws, the wording at the end does suggest in the Reclaim the Bay's bylaws that if people finish the extension course, comma, and any other, I believe the wording, requirements, they would be offered membership.
Yeah, this is Rick. None of us has ever gone through anything like this before, and there was not any, nobody ever contemplated this when we were establishing these relationships. The way that it had been established was that the 20 hours of service to complete your coastal stewardship course, if that was done with Reclaim the Bay, and there was never any requirement that coastal stewardship people must complete 20 hours with Reclaim the Bay. It could have been other things that, as Doug said, those people would be offered membership in Reclaim the Bay, and they could use the 20 hours that they devoted to completion of their coastal stewardship course. Now, the thing that was never contemplated was what happens if the course suspends that requirement. Is it that just the requirement for the course, or is that the requirement for Reclaim the Bay? We never really addressed that. And quite frankly, the point is for people who want to participate in Reclaim the Bay, it's really that they want to participate in Reclaim the Bay. So they were looking for things to do to participate. So I would say at this time, it's just an open item. And I don't see it as a major stumbling block. It's just, as I say, something that had just never been contemplated. And I think that what the words that Doug used are right, that membership would be offered. It wasn't so much that anybody who registered for the coastal stewardship course just automatically became a Reclaim the Bay person. That wasn't the way that it had been done in the past. It was that people cleaned up wellers, went to fairs and festivals, did various things. And then as part of that, they just kind of matriculated into Reclaim the Bay. So I don't have anything more definitive than that. If you're interested in Reclaim the Bay and want to participate, then, hey, great.
There is one point though, Rick, and I don't have an opinion. It's just a point of clarification that say I didn't volunteer this year 20 hours, then I would not be a member in good standing unless I bought my membership. So every year we must complete 20 hours of service in order to be considered a member in good standing. And this year is different from every other year. And we may say across the board to all of our volunteers, hey, you couldn't get to the upweller because you had to stay inside. And so it was impossible for you to do your 20 hours of service. And we're going to waive that just like the course had it waived. But that's the reality of our history, is that members have to be in good standing. And rather than have everyone pay to be a member, they're using their hours of volunteerism to pay their dues. And that's how we've done it the last several years when we formalized how we were going to do it.
Deb,
Yeah,
can I just make one potential suggestion? Is that if people from the class want to become Reclaim the Bay members, that we make them this year provisional members, and as soon as we have the ability to do volunteer work and stuff, that they must put their 20 hours in. Otherwise, they I don't know what happens, but
yeah, well, but that could be the same for all of us, Wes.
yeah,
You know,
good.
the
Yes,
reality is you and I have put in more than 20 hours this year, even though we couldn't do the things we've done in the past.
yeah,
And there are members that have been hardworking members for years, and this year they could not be in public.
yeah.
This has been a issue in some of my professional societies, one of which I serve on the board, even for financial reasons, let alone, I mean, obviously related to COVID and others, of us granting membership or a waiver for folks for their $80 membership. And so this is happening in a variety of societies and groups here. So these discussions, I mean, the membership status of graduating class members of this year, the discussions similarly haven't occurred yet, and haven't really been at the forefront, it sounds like, or I haven't been involved in the conversations for the general membership, as you brought up, Deb. So is this an action item that therefore we now, I mean, I shouldn't say we, that, or maybe Rick or others as appropriate in the task to the membership committee to take up on how to approach this year in 2021?
I think that's really the best thing to do. We don't want to reach some decision here. I think that's something that should go to the membership committee. It just really had never come up or was never contemplated. So I think that's an.
Now, I would think that it would be natural for the membership committee to come up with their recommendation and present it to the board of directors. You're going to be having a meeting shortly, and that could be decided at that point and released to the membership before the December meeting.
Yep, I think that's it. So, and also for the interest in time in this meeting, I think that we've aired the topic. We have an idea, and referring it to committee is typical parliamentary procedure. So let's do that. We're going to refer that to the membership committee, and that we will. I think we want to get this nailed down. It's not. I don't think it's that big a deal. I think it requires some discussion, looking back, seeing what words are used to describe this, and then to move forward with it. So, okay. Anything else, Doug?
That sounds good on mine. If there are any other questions, I'll be happy to take more suggestions. And just other contribution, Rick, I see Bill Walsh is now on, if you want to go back to that agenda item.
Okay, Bill, you're on. Was there anything that you wanted to bring up about activities?
Sorry. How's that?
I can hear you now.
All right, Rick, did you discuss the targeted postcard mailing that we're thinking about with Judy?
No.
Okay. So Judy Seddon, who is a local real estate person on Long Beach Island, came up with an idea. Actually, she was working with me and Rick on what was supposed to be the mini golf event. But she has wanted to stay. She wants to stay involved. Actually, her and her daughter may even sign up for the course when it's offered again. But she came up with the idea of a targeted postcard approach for requesting contributions and membership and donations. She uses as a part of her real estate business. she gave us a considerable contribution of $1,500. And so the discussion we're having is to use a portion of that to develop a very targeted postcard campaign for year-end membership, year-end contributions, to allow to, I guess, let people know about the store, given that we're coming up on the holidays, and overall kind of garner how effective this might be as an overall level of support for Reclaim the Bay. It's a very interesting database that she has, I guess she got through her real estate connections, where she can actually target groups. It's very different than what you could get through the post office, which would allow you to target postal routes. This, she can actually say, we're going to target the oceanfront homeowners in a certain section of Long Beach Island, and we're going to target the bayfront owners. So it's not cheap by any stretch. It's about 75 cents per postcard delivered, but it gets delivered to the primary residence of the property owner. So we're going to try a mailing of about 700 or so that would cost us somewhere around $550. And the message would be a shortened version of who we are, what we do, why we do what we do, and how folks can help us by becoming a member or a business partner or making a contribution to, texting a contribution to us. So the plan is to roll this out in a very limited fashion and to gauge how successful it is. And if
So Bill, it's Teresa. The only thing is that, I mean, I don't know what it's like down in LBI this time of year, but how many of those are primary residents versus, summer homes? Because you may be doing a mailing to those homes that no one may show up.
Right. Well, if they're not year-round owners and they have a primary home in some other part, it's going to part of the state or out of state, it's going to go to the primary residence of record. So if somebody owns an oceanfront in Beach Haven, but they actually live in Philadelphia, it would go to the Philadelphia address.
So everyone forwards their mail, or?
No, it would be based off the tax records where the primary address is.
Well,
Okay. All right, because I don't
actually,
know,
I
because down here in Tom's River, I have a lot of summer people, but they get their mail all winter long and it just sits there and piles up in their mailboxes. So that's what I was thinking.
No, this would be wherever their primary home is. That's where it would go.
I like the idea of doing it at this point in the year because we can play up the tax benefit, Hey, do you need to donate?
Right, and she actually brought that up, and we know that there are significant limitations on what we used to be able to do. But at least this year, folks can make up to if you don't itemize on your federal return, you can still make up to a $300 contributions up to $300 without itemizing, and still get some credit. So we'll see how effective it is. And we figured we would use some of the generous contribution that Judy gave us to gauge how successful we might be if we wanted to expand this and do, oceanfront from Holgate to Mantoloking and, do bayfront owners or some other kind of approach. But it lets you get very, very specific on who you target.
Yeah, sounds good.
I think this is a great idea. Because if you get one person with a lot of money, they'll give you the $500 that pays for all this.
That's what we're looking for.
That's basically what we're doing with a portion of Judy's money, Ted. So that, and I think the check for Roma came in, or Roma, we had $2,000 that came in, I think, since the last discussion, I guess that's kind of it. We have the Orsted application that we put in for. We haven't heard back yet from that, but they are applying to get a slice of the next portion of offshore wind. And so they are looking to us to see if we would be willing to write a letter of support for them. And I think Rick is trying to get a hold of Ernie Panasek, who is Viking Village up in Barnegat Light, but he's also the president of a group called the Garden State Seafood Association. And a lot of the fishermen are members of that organization. So we'll be able to get a sense from him and others about what their overall take is on offshore wind. This would not be a lobbying effort by any stretch, since we're a 501c3 and that's not allowed by the rules. But it would be just sort of a, if we were going to draft a letter without running afoul of any of our other partners or friends, I should say, then the letter would be somewhat generic in its approach, saying, hey, basically, we're aware of Ørsted. They have explained to us via one of our monthly meetings what their program's all about. They appeared to be very open and honest with the discussion with us. And so basically, give them a shot at the second round. That's basically what the sum and substance of the letter would be. It wouldn't be any more forceful than that. But it's got to get in relatively soon. So as soon as Rick is able to nail down Ernie Panasek, just to see, this is kind of I see this as sort of putting our finger in the air and seeing which way the wind is blowing, just to make sure that we're not going to, run afoul of our other friends in the industry. And I think that was it.
All right.
Just one question.
Yeah.
This is Joe. How will on your solicitation for donations, will payment by check be the only one offered, or will you offer the ability for like PayPal or credit cards?
We were basically pointing them to the website, Joe, and the other piece would be to point them to. I think that link that you set up, which was the text RCTB to, what I don't recall that 5-digit number off the top. Yeah. I assume that's still live. And if that is, we would include that.
Yeah, but going to the website's probably.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, good enough. Thank you.
And pointing them to the website gives us two pieces, right? We get if you want to be a member or just donate. If you want to be a member, we've got the tiers that we have set up from $200 to $250. If you want to be a business partner, we've got the $250 to $1,500 level. So we'll see how effective that is.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
Any questions? Are there more questions, I should say?
Yes,
Sorry,
I have questions.
Sure, go ahead.
This is Kathleen Space again. On the mailing that you're interested in doing, you just want to make sure, and I'm not sure that I'm hearing this from you, but you want to make sure that you're not suggesting certain dollar amounts to those people that would be making the donations, and then trying to advise them as to what donation would be best from a tax standpoint. So
no,
you just want to keep that.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay.
We're not
I'm
even...
sorry. You mentioned something about $300 and tax deduction and 501c3, but you just want to make sure that you don't give them tax advice as to if they donated $300, then that would be within the threshold of what is, for the 2020 tax year. You don't want language like that on there, okay?
Yeah. Kathleen, we're not doing, and there'll be no mention of that. What will be on the card is we are Reclaim the Bay. We are a 501c3 organization. We are concerned about the health of the estuary. We teach about shellfish and the values and the benefits that they bring. This is how we do that. We grow them. We grow clams and oysters. We build living shorelines. There's 3 or 4 points that would kind of summarize what we do very quickly. Again, this is on a postcard. There's no reference to, oh, by the way, there's no reference to tax deductibility, the $300 limit. There's no reference to that at all. There's no guidance in terms of how much we think you should contribute. It will say, if you'd like to be a member, you can sign up at our website, and here's the link to here's the page. If you would like to be a business partner, you can become a business partner at our website. Here's the page. Or if you just want to make a quick donation, you can make a donation by texting to this number.
Okay, beautiful. Beautiful. That's exactly what should be on there. I think maybe I might have misunderstood you because you mentioned something about $300 and that being, possibly a tax deductible, but you don't want to be tax advisors.
No, clearly not. I was responding to Deb's.
Yeah, that was just a
Deb's
comment.
thought about people. People like to make contributions towards the end of the year, and that's the only reason why I raised that. That would never go on any solicitation that we would do.
Okay, I just want to make sure that wouldn't go on any solicitation, and that's fine. Now I understand it a little. You just do not want to be advising people whether their deduction to is tax deductible or not. That's something they need to take up with their accountant, or that they figure out on their own. It's not something that Reclaim the Bay should be doing as a 501c3.
I agree entirely. Teresa,
Okay.
you were saying something? Sorry, Teresa.
Yeah, no, the only thing I was going to say is I was going to agree with you, Bill. It was really just a comment that it's a good idea because it's towards the end of the year and people do start to think about if they haven't donated, they may want to donate now. So it was really in that context, Kathleen, not in that we're going to say, please donate X dollars. Oh, by the way, it's tax. I mean, none of that. It's only in a closed meeting here that we're having that conversation. It wouldn't be public.
Okay, well, I don't even think that discussion of how much is deductible and how much isn't deductible should even be in this closed meeting, because unless you are willing to unless you're willing to violate your 501c3 filing, which is, I don't think, your intent. So you shouldn't even be having this discussion. You let the person who's donating decide how much money they're going to give. You don't advise them on how much to give, and then in turn, how much they can deduct.
Yeah, we're not doing it.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else? All right. Very good. So we will get we'll get an email out shortly that will have the link to any of you who came in late. Oh, I see we have Al. I'm sorry, Al.
Yeah,
I know that we have one more thing on the agenda.
You never got to other business.
So as an introduction to other business, Wes and I have been working the last couple of weeks revisiting the Jenkinson's project to see how we can minimize the current budget, try to reduce the elements that are in there. For example, a lot of the costs are in the tanks. Can we use off-the-shelf tanks or versus customizing, which was our original approach? So we've been able to come up with a new number. I think we reduced it around $3,000 or so dollars from our original submission. But we wanted to understand from the organization, is this something that can be funded within the organization versus the approach that we were taking before, looking for a specific person or group to fund. So Wes, did you want to add anything to that? Or
I think just for anybody that doesn't remember, we are putting we're trying to put a display together for Jenkinson's Aquarium in Point Pleasant Beach, a permanent display, an educational thing. And our original thing was to do some custom tanks, you know, to put clams and oysters in. We've talked to their aquarist and, you know, that's all good. They want us there. They've given us a big space. We had gotten estimates for a custom tank, and it came in like around $4,000 just for the tank, and then it got up to about $10,000 for the thing. And we thought we might be able to get a grant from what we call the Myth, which did the grant for Traders Cove. That apparently hasn't worked out. I think we've kind of lost our contacts there. But anyway, we're trying to pare it down a little bit to get to some level that maybe is easier to fund. We're down around 6,900 right now. But what I'd like to add to it, Al, if you don't mind, is whether we've got some other fundraising possibilities that we could do. Are we allowed to do something like a GoFundMe for a project? I don't know what our legal things are with that kind of thing. Bill, maybe you've got some ideas of something where we could have a dedicated fundraiser for this project.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, I mean, we want to talk to Robin, the accountant, but I don't, from anything we've talked about in the past, actually it's a little easier if we identify a project and raise money for that project and then show that money spent on that project. So I think that's great. And that's another one I should talk to you a little offline, and also talk to Jenkinson's, because this would be promoting them too. I mean, we'd be saying this is going in at Jenkinson's, and so let's have an offline conversation about that. Maybe you, me, and Al.
And maybe
I would, if you don't mind, I'd like to be a part of that discussion too.
Yeah.
Because I think what I'd like to do is we could take that, we can develop the ask, and then we can put it out to some corporate foundations.
Great, that sounds good.
Yeah, and the other thing I like about that is we all know, since I live on LBI, I'm a little LBI centric, but this would be something that's up north. It's a recognized name up north. So they're good things all the way around. And yeah, I didn't mean in any way, Bill, to not have you on that call. Maybe you're more important than I am to have on that call.
No, and because then I think we can tap into a larger group of possibilities. You know, we can look at the corporates up there and see what, and have a discussion with Jenkinson's.
As Al has said to me, Jenkins has had a tough year this year, so they're not probably as able to do any funding, but they may be able to help us out with places where they get some funding or something. I don't know. But yeah, they've got to be in the mix, but I'm not counting on them. We are not counting on them anteing up a whole lot.
Well, even if they were willing, well, we'll have the discussion offline because there's stuff that they could do behind the scenes that would be helpful for us.
Sure. Okay.
All right, great.
Rick, it's Paul Jeffrey. You know, there's a number of substantial businesses up there, like someone like Jaeger Lumber comes to mind that might be willing to, in Point Pleasant, that might be willing to sponsor that for us.
Yeah.
Well, we just didn't we just, I think we just recruited Paul into this conversation.
It sounds that way to me.
You're right. That if we can get the funding source for this, then Al and I can move forward with some of the stuff. Right now we're formulating ideas, but without funding to back it up, we're kind of just blowing in the wind here a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, then we should probably, I'll send out an email to Rick, Al, Wes, and Paul, since we dragged you into this kicking and screaming,
Well, I'm a customer at Garden State Yacht Sales up there too. So they're another big business with big pockets.
All right, so there you go. So I'll send an email out, kind of looking at when what might be a good time to have a discussion.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, great.
Anybody else?
Okay. One other item under other business. You probably got, if you haven't noticed, you got an email, and we're having a little photo contest. Send us a photo of some activity and why you like to support and why you enjoy supporting Reclaim the Bay. We're going to have a little competition, and the 3 best of those pictures and captions, we're going to give a $25 gift certificate to the store. So we'll be promoting the store, and we want to use those pictures as part of our membership campaign. So we've got some pictures to put into Facebooks and, and one thing or another. And so go through your files, just pick out, something that you think really kind of underscores the things that you've done and why you've enjoyed doing that, and send them off to us. Sooner the better. We want to try and get this stuff together. We're going to be doing a Facebook campaign, and we really need the pictures to put in there. So just go back and look at your emails, and the instructions are on there. And I don't want to overlook that. And that also reminds me of, we have some new merchandise out at the store. We got some cute little kids shirts that I've got for some friends of mine. They say I'm happy as a clam, and they're for youth sizes. And then we have new shirts that were put together by Jetty. It's a really cool logo and some different colors. So go out to the store and take a look around for your Christmas shopping.
Hey, Rick, what did you find out about gift cards?
Yeah, they work perfectly. I did it myself.
Is it a digital gift card?
Yeah. So, and a good question. If you want to give a gift card, which is really a cool thing to do, it's real simple. You just go out there, and one of the options, like you buy a shirt, you buy a gift card, and what you get is, it's a cute little thing, looks like a card, and it's got a number in it, and that number is what when you go to spend the gift card, when you buy whatever you're buying, when you go to cash out, it says enter promo card or gift card number, and you enter the number in there, and it subtracts it. And I had a $50 gift card. I bought $58 worth of stuff. It deducted the $50 in the gift card, and then billed my credit card for the $8.23 or whatever it was. So yeah, it works seamlessly. It's really a cool thing.
Mm-hmm.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. I was afraid, having my internet problems. It's windy out here on the beach. Okay, any other final comments? We'll be just coming up on an hour. I like to try and keep these things under an hour, and it looks like we're on target.
Rick, it's Paul.
I need to ask another question under other business.
Go ahead, Deb. I'll ask mine later.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. I can wait. I didn't know someone else chimed in.
Go ahead, Kathleen.
I wanted to ask, in respect to Orsted, Rick, you and I a while back conversed about their virtual open houses and talking about possibly getting them to come out to Reclaim the Bay to the membership and to speak. Is there any prospect of that happening?
Yeah, that's what. Yes, the short answer is yes, very much.
Okay, because there was some mention of in the previous discussion about gauging, what others think of the Orsted project. So I thought we were going to open the meeting to those who weren't able, to the membership of Reclaim the Bay, for those people who weren't able to attend the virtual open houses, and have them come and give an abbreviated virtual talk.
Yeah, that's
am I misunderstanding?
that's what I'm working on. Yep.
Okay. All right. Okay. Good. Thank you.
For the good of the order, also, if people are on the Barnegat Bay Partnerships email listserv, they sent out an updates this afternoon, and one of those updates is the same time as our coastal stewardship virtual graduation, Kathleen, unfortunately. But December 1st, 7 to 8 p.m., they have a seminar with Ørsted on offshore wind, and we also hosted their stakeholder engagement leader for a seminar back in April. If you'd like, I can send you that recording of that webinar.
I'm familiar with that seminar. I thought that we were going to, at least the discussion I had with Rick via email was that we were going to invite Ørsted to come out and speak to the Reclaim the Bay. Beyond that, that seminar talk that you moderated, Doug, which was phenomenal, by the way. So this next component of their virtual open house, I thought we were going to invite them to come to Reclaim the Bay because as far as I could tell from listening to Reclaim the Bay, they seemed rather interested in going out and doing more public outreach. So I thought we were going to try to reach out to the members and invite the Ørsted people to come to a virtual meeting with us to have a discussion about their project and see, the next steps of their project and getting more information.
Yes, Kathleen, I'm working on that. I have been working on that. That's why we brought that up.
No, you brought up that you were going to do some kind of polling. I'm afraid I just didn't understand exactly what it is that you guys were intending on doing, and that's why I needed this clarified. So thank you, Rick, for clarifying it for me.
Yes, we're working on it with them and have been for about 6 months. So we're in relatively frequent contact with the people there, and setting up a meeting like that takes a little time. And certainly our members will be invited. I mean, that's the point of that exercise. So yes, we're working on that.
Okay, great. Thanks, Rick, for clarifying that. I appreciate it.
Okay. All right.
Rick, it's Paul Jeffrey. I had one quick question, and that is just, did the giant clam contract get approved by the board?
I was waiting to hear back what Teresa thought of that, and kind of what I was looking at was like the trial balloon of how that seemed to fit her, her engagement with the yacht club. And I saw that last email where she was saying that they've been a little unresponsive. So that's, I'm in limbo. We will have a board meeting in the beginning of December. I'd like to take that into that idea into the board, but again, it's not so much the board telling you guys what your contract should read. It's you guys saying, hey, this seems to work for us. And does the board have any problems with it?
Right.
Well,
Yeah, no, and I'm sorry, Rick, I have not read it yet. I know that, they have not responded to one email, and I haven't seen the one person who told me, it's incredible.
okay. Rick,
So-
I just wanted some okay. There's a number of people I can speak to about it. I need to follow up with Lavalette too, because we want to renew it with them, but I don't want to be taking it out and chatting with people about it and then find out that the board had an issue with it. So I understand it's both ways, but I think it would be good for the board to have a quick look at it, and then we'll go from there. But that's why I was just asking if we should do that or not do that.
Right. Well, and so I think what was going through my brain anyhow was to hear back, since it seemed like it was imminent that Teresa was going to talk to them at the yacht club. Since
Right.
that's no longer imminent, and since our board meeting is coming up, I think the appropriate thing would be to say, here is the final draft of what's being proposed. what do you think of that? What are some things that maybe we should address or think about so that you've got a final draft and then you can,
Yep. That's
Yeah,
exactly what I
I
was asking
agree.
for.
Yeah, I agree because so I plan to read it for the board meeting, Rick. So and that's exactly right. Since it wasn't imminent and I was busy with some COVID related things, I didn't get to it. Sorry.
yeah, well,
Okay, good. Just let me know when it's ready.
very good. Okay. I think that was it. All right. I'll get the minute meetings out and the connect to the recording. And everyone have a safe and happy rest of this week and the weekend. Talk to you all
And
later.
Thanksgiving, right?
Rick, I just wanted to,
Oh, Frank.
yeah, it's totally for this meeting, but at next meeting, I like to do a little production, give it the numbers of how we did with the the clams and what we did all summer. So maybe we could throw that on the agenda for next meeting.
Absolutely. Yep. Final clam report. And
Okay.
Okay. Super.
All right.
Bye. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks,
bravo,
Rick
bravo.
and everybody. Happy Thanksgiving.